Hi there, and welcome to the weekly Asylum and Immigration Reform Update, where I share with you 5 recent stories of interest to asylum seekers and those who want to stay current on immigration news. This week, we're discussing
Florida Attorney General held in contempt for defying immigration law restraining order. Unexpected weekend immigration check-ins in Seattle lead to sudden detentions. Trump administration seeks to dismantle asylum protections and work permits. Trump orders massive deportation campaign targeting Democratic-led cities. Immigration raids in Los Angeles result in wrongful detention of U.S. citizens.
I'm Brian Manning, and I used to be an asylum officer with the government, but now, as an asylum lawyer, I help immigrants all over the country to secure their future in America through asylum. It's my pleasure to bring you asylum and immigration reform updates each week right here on the Political Asylum Lawyers YouTube channel. Okay, let's get to the news. First up,
A federal judge on Tuesday held Florida's Attorney General in civil contempt for not following a restraining order, which told state prosecutors to tell officers to stop enforcing a new immigration law. Kathleen M. Williams, a judge for the Southern District of Florida, had issued a temporary order in April to stop the enforcement of a law that made it a state crime for unauthorized foreign adults to enter or re-enter Florida with a required minimum sentence of 9 months in prison. But James Uthmeier, Florida's Attorney General, sent a letter to state law enforcement saying he couldn't stop them from enforcing the new rules. In my opinion, no valid court order currently stops your agencies from enforcing Florida's illegal entry and re-entry laws, Uthmeier wrote. Judge Williams told Uthmeier to give reports every 2 weeks about any arrests, detentions, or other actions taken under the new law. If he doesn't follow through, the court could add other punishments, including fines. Uthmeier said on X, "If being held in contempt is the price for defending the rule of law and backing President Trump's immigration plan, I accept it."
And next up, for update number 2.
Edipo Menezes, an asylum seeker from Brazil, got a surprise notice last Friday. He was asked to go to the Department of Homeland Security offices in Tukwila over the weekend, either Saturday or Sunday. Immigration lawyers said they were worried about the short notice and the Saturday appointment. About 200 people tried to go to the federal immigration authorities that weekend. 2 of them were arrested by the agents. Menezes called his wife from inside the building to tell her that he would probably be moved to the detention center of Northwest Immigration in Tacoma. That could mean a possible deportation. His wife mentioned that there was no hearing scheduled in immigration court for him. The people who showed up on Saturday were not undocumented immigrants. They had legal status in the United States thanks to the Intensive Supervision Program, which monitors people through an app. The notice said to arrive at 8 in the morning on Saturday, but the doors stayed closed until 9:30, when men in plain clothes with baseball caps and neck gaiters, probably ICE agents, started letting people in.
All right, time for our third immigration update.
The Trump administration is looking for new ways to increase deportations. To do this, they are getting rid of or limiting asylum as much as possible. The most recent step is to pressure immigration judges to close cases more quickly. The Department of Justice sent a memo to judges asking them to dismiss cases quickly if the Department of Homeland Security asks for it verbally. In March, 76% of asylum requests were turned down, according to data from the Transactional Records Access Clearinghouse at Syracuse University. The government also plans to take away work permits from asylum seekers, which would leave millions of people and their families without a way to make money. This was reported last week in an exclusive CBS story, based on information from 2 sources inside the Department of Homeland Security. The administration sent an email to those who entered the country using CBP-1 appointments, announcing that their residency and work permits would be taken away. Almost 1 million people have entered the U.S. through CBP-1 since Biden started it in January 2023.
And moving right along, update number 4.
President Trump has told Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, to step up efforts to arrest and deport undocumented immigrants in cities run by Democrats. On Truth Social, Trump said he's giving ICE agents the order to do everything they can to meet this very important goal and carry out the biggest mass deportation program in history. Trump also said it's important to do more to arrest and remove undocumented people in major American cities like Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York, where millions of undocumented people live. Trump's top advisor, Stephen Miller, along with Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, asked late last month for ICE to try to arrest 3,000 people daily, which is 3 times the number of arrests made at the start of the second administration. Trump's order comes as Democratic leaders in California are fighting him in court over the deployment of the State National Guard and U.S. Marines in response to the protests against ICE in Los Angeles. The government's strict immigration policy has led to protests across the country, and many of the people at the No Kings protests on Saturday showed signs criticizing the ICE raids.
And finally, our fifth immigration update for this week.
In recent days, immigration raids in the United States have continued to focus on communities in Southern California, including a well-known flea market and in a Los Angeles suburb where even American citizens were detained. On Saturday, ICE agents showed up at a flea market in Santa Fe Springs, located in the southeast of Los Angeles County. Witnesses told the Los Angeles Times that the officers seemed to be looking for people who looked Hispanic, which caused fear among the people. Jason Brian Gavidia, an American citizen, was stopped by armed Border Patrol agents in an unmarked vehicle. An agent asked 29-year-old Gavidia, "What hospital were you born in?" In a witness's recording, you can hear someone say, literally, just because of skin color. Javier Ramirez, also an American citizen and Gavidia's friend, was detained by two officers, forced to lie face down on the ground, and taken to a federal prison, where he remains in custody. Salvador Melendez, mayor of Montebello, a city with a 79% Latino population, told The Guardian, "This is a case of racial profiling. They are stopping people just because of how they look."
And that wraps up this week's immigration news. If you want to win asylum in the United States, then you should call my office today. We help people all over the country, so it doesn't matter where you are. Call us now to schedule an Asylum Strategy Session so that we can help you to secure your future in America through asylum. Again, I'm Brian Manning, and it's an honor to serve you in your immigration journey.